Okay, we're back and we're talking about Babylon the Great, the harlot, and we're in the book of Revelation in chapter 17, and we're talking about how this is an end time entity or country in this case. It's powerful, it's very rich, and it's depicted as a harlot, which is the biblical word for a prostitute or a whore. And she's not faithful and she sells herself. So it says in verse 9, here is the mind which has wisdom. Okay, so when you hear that, it's like Yahweh wants us and Yeshua wants us to figure out what is being said here. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. Mountains in the Bible have a symbolic meaning, and it can be countries, or it could be mountains. It could be real mountains. So this woman sits on top of 7 countries. Some people think it could be 7 groups of countries, because they say that the New World Order has the whole earth divided up into 7 pieces, and that the United States controls them. I don't really go for that one, but you have to figure that out. So I'm trying to just lead you toward it so that you can draw your own conclusions. I'm drawing some conclusions for you, but you ultimately have to draw your own conclusions. So the 7 heads are 7 mountains. So that could be nations on which the woman sits. Verse 10, there are also 7 kings. Okay, so those 7 nations are run or led by 7 kings, 7 leaders, 7 presidents. Kings could be prime ministers, presidents, or kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. Right? This is a major riddle going on here. So 5 are dead, possibly. 1 still exists at the now, maybe in the end times. Revelation is a book for the end time. Or it could be 1 is at the time of the writing, when John actually wrote this. I don't know. You have to figure that out. These are different things to ponder, different theories that I've heard. And the other has not yet come. Okay, so that one has not yet come yet. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. But we definitely know the beast is not a good guy. And the harlot isn't a good country either. So the beast that was, this is verse 11 from Revelation 17. The beast that was and is not, is himself also the 8th. Okay, so it's kind of confusing now. He was the 7th and he is the 8th, or he was and he wasn't, and now he is the 8th. Did he die and then he was resurrected? I don't know. We'll have to see. I know that it talks about that in Revelation somewhere. It talks about someone being killed and then being resurrected, or he comes back. He's resurrected from a mortal wound. A mortal wound means a wound that makes you die. And he comes back from it. So it could be speaking about that. And is of the 7 and is going to perdition. Okay, verse 12. The 10 horns which you saw are 10, the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. Again, the beast is another name for this. The beast, the son of perdition, the Antichrist. It doesn't actually say the Antichrist in the Bible. It says that many Antichrists and the spirit of Antichrist. It doesn't actually speak about the Antichrist the way we popularly do. But definitely the beast is going to be Antichrist, against Christ. And or you could say anti-Messiah. In verse 13, these are of one mind. The 10 horns, that will be 10 kings, they are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, and we know who the Lamb is. The Lamb of Elohim, the Lamb of Yahweh. It's Yeshua. The Lamb will overcome them, and for he is master of masters and King of kings. And those who are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. You know, it says, many are called, few are chosen, and fewer are faithful. And Yeshua says, will the Son of Man find faith when he returns to the earth? I mean, do we have faith? Do we trust? Do we know? Faith isn't hope. The biblical definition of faith is know. You know that who Yahweh is. You know what his power is. The only way you can start to have that is if you step out and you start to do what it says in the Bible. Try to, read the Bible, and you're going to see there are things in there that you don't do. Try to do them, the good things. Keeping the Sabbath. That's Saturday, from Friday night till Saturday night. Don't work. Don't do your own thing. Have it as a day for Yahweh, to study his word, to be with your family, have a good meal, and a day that you rest from your work. You don't buy or you don't sell. And try some other things. Try it step by step. Yahweh is very patient and merciful, but we're running out of time. We're getting very close to the end here. Get moving. Start reading the Bible. This is the manual that you have to know for life, for eternal life. Yahweh wants us to have eternal life. So those that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. Verse 15. Then he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples. Or in this case, waters is symbolic of peoples. Some people say that every time the word waters appears in the Bible, it's talking about people. Sometimes water is water. Sometimes a tree is a tree. A house is a house. Sometimes it's symbolic of something else. You can't just paint everything with one brush and one color. So, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Well, that definitely is a description where this harlot, which is Babylon, where she sits, it's a country, the United States, which has many peoples, multitudes, many nations, and many tongues. And the United Nations are within the United States too. And there are many languages there, and many languages in the United States. So it kind of covers both. In verse 16 it says, and the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, this will hate the harlot. So this is important. Some people confuse this and they say that Babylon, the harlot, is the beast. It is not. They're two separate things. Babylon the Great is the harlot. She is one thing, and I think she's the United States. So do a lot of other people. The beast is another thing. There's the beast, the entity, like the country or this group of countries that the beast, the person, controls and runs and rules over. He's going to be like this one guy who rules over these other 10 guys in their 10 countries or lands or something like that. They're going to hate the harlot. So they're going to hate the United States. They're going to make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Again, we see this, that they're going to burn her with fire. So they're not the same thing. The United States, or the harlot, sits on top of and controls the beast. And the U.S. definitely controls the United Nations and basically controls the rest of the countries of the world, a lot of the countries of the rest of the world. And they're not going to take it for much longer. And they're starting to rebel now. They're going to finally turn on her, and they're going to hate her, make her desolate, naked, and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So just remember, the harlot, which is Babylon, is not the same as the beast. They're two separate things. In verse 17, for Yahweh has put it into their hearts to fulfill his purpose, to be of one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast, until the words of Yahweh are fulfilled. 18, and the woman whom you saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. So we see that that woman is the great city, which is the great country, Babylon, Babylon the Great, the United States of America.